Yo, okay, this is a TLDR on how the gearing system will work. So, it's split into two. So, all gear obtained in earth, fire and ice pens, I consider to be spawner gear. You can use basically whatever minimum level it says to use it on. And then anything obtained in hell requires minimum level 101. Now that's to do with the way the PTM stuff works on it. Spawner gear can only have one PTM orb applied to it, which will appear as a special bonus. And the hell gear, which will be your main gear, has the same one, but then can also PTM your normal stats with PTM orbs. So if I just show you, I got normal orbs there. This is a PTM orb. We'll probably change the appearance or something at some point. So two chests. One is minimum level 70, and then you got the hell one, which is minimum level 101. So if we split this into 20 of each, there's only 20 there. So if I show you how the orb system actually works, this little thing here, vitrified opal, all your stones that you left click apply a stack to this. So you see it's 502 at the moment. If we just left click all the stones, see it's adding to, add to, and the hell ones. So it was 502, now it's still 502. What the hell is that about? No, it's not, it's a tooltip crap. 544, I don't know why it doesn't update. Right, so 544. So then you buy the orbs from Obsidia. So we're lacking immunity, so I'll just buy 20. You can see it saying 4. We'll try and work something out to actually display a cost. 34, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so it's 40. Right, so there's our 20 attack parry immunity and then attack PTM. So the best way to do this, because you're orbing it, or if you're going to silver and gild it, do it right from the start. So we'll do attack, parry, immunity, and then we'll silver and gild it straight away. Yeah, so +3. This saves us the silver and thing. Rather than using 1900 silver and 2000 gold, we're just using 200 and 300. So we'll do 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now we've got two pieces. One is a minimum level 70. One is a minimum level 101. So now, here's what we do, right? If you apply an attack PTM orb to that, you'll see a special bonus +1 attack. Okay, now that's the same for the hell gear. Same deal, +1, blah blah. But the difference is with the spawner gear, you can't apply anymore. Okay, so it's just the one piece of +1 PTM orb per item slot, basically. So you can end up with 11 +1 stats across your full set. The hell gear, however, you can see I can apply. It's getting a bit messy because these things here are actually just like the God commands is telling you the stats and stuff. But you can see here it's now added +1 attack onto my thing here. So the hell gear allows you to PTM another 5 of each stat, basically. +2, +3, +4, +5. So if we go ahead and just fill these up, basically, as if we'd orbed them to +20. Just to show you, a maxed out spawner piece then would look like this. Okay, so that is +20 API, and it's got the +1 attack PTM, and that's it. It can't take any more. The spawner piece, however, scroll down again. Add all these on. I've got too many now, randomly. I put 40, didn't use many. So the spawner piece you can see here is plus 20 API, plus 1 PTM attack, but then it's also accepted 5 PTM attack orbs. It would do the same for parry, same for immunity. So basically, spawner gear, earth, fire, and ice pants can only apply a single PTM orb to it. One orb per piece, so you get 11 PTM stats on a spawner gear set. Hell gear, only usable by a main, requires minimum level 101, spawns will stop at 100. For spawner gear, we're keeping 108, 160 and 200 just for carnage with mains. But basically, spawner gear, 1 PTM, main gear allows more. For the moment, it's capped at plus 5 PTM per stat. We will obviously look at how we increase it more, whether this goes to plus 10 or if we add additional special bonuses or even like 4 slots to apply, etc, etc. Now, the whole point behind this, these 20 here count towards the default gear requirement for your base. So whereas before, you know, if you're a mage or a warrior, you require 50% of your base in gear. So if I was one of them, you're rocking 110, you'd need 55 in your gear. But saying it's 72%, it's still that, which would work out at basically 80-ish. I think 111 base requires 80, so we're like one off. So basically, that's by default, yeah? So you're going to still need the 4 slots for the Saiyan, the 3 to 4, however, if you want to min-max on the mage and warrior. Now the PTM orbs only apply to the PTM side of it. If you equip 5 slots on a Saiyan of plus 20 attack here, it's only going to use 80 to max the base. Yeah? And then if you had 5 slots at plus 5 attack PTM, you would get 25 points of PTM. So only the PTM effect here on the additional slot that takes you beyond the normal gearing will apply. So in theory, you are wasting 20, which is the normal gearing side of it, to gain an additional 5. So the reason behind this is basically because of the way Astonia stats work. If we tried to create now, which we're planning to do, if we're trying to create like endgame rating for people, it's extremely difficult to balance the NPCs that you fight. If someone rocks up with, for example, 11 slots of 25 lightning flash on, it's basically on every single piece they got, they'll end up with something crazy, you know, 11 slots like 250 mod on top, and it just makes it very difficult to balance because they would just basically annihilate everything we're attempting to make as a balance, and the mods just scale insanely high. So by doing it this way, we're restricting the amount of PTMs that a player can gain to begin with, which allows us to basically say, right, okay, if this guy is raising a tank, he's putting parry. If he puts parry on every single slot and he uses it on the special bonus slot, that's basically meaning he's got 11 slots of 5 parry, so that's 55, and 11 slots of parry there. That's going to be another 11, so 66 parry PTM mod is what he can achieve at max, going full into parry basically to make a tank. We can then use that to sort of work out and gauge what defensive value a tank would have on this current gear to then make a raid that has challenging NPCs to kill against those sort of offense-defense values. What we'll do then is when you clear the raid or drops in the raid, we're going to work in some form of system that allows us to then, after you've done it, to basically increase your stats beyond what they currently are. So options are basically so far an item that drops that allows you to increase this plus 5 further, or adding additional slots. So you can add, say this is attack power immunity, I can then add in a sword and gain another 5 PTM from the sword on there, allowing us to gain another 55 PTMs in stats per round, you know what I mean? Or the alternative one that Knight did see is basically just adding multiple slots over time, but the only thing we'd have to work out is if you could have duplicates at that point. Otherwise you're still capped at just having 11, one on each piece. So basically that's our logic behind it. It allows us to cap at the beginning so we can have fun and try and create something that's going to be cool, like an actual PvE raid for once. Have people play proper roles, and then it allows you, once you've done that, you can basically progress to move your character on to the next one again. So just to go into how the PTM orbs work, you might have noticed a bar here. So at level 80, every character will get this third bar. It's orb experience bar. All experience obtained from all sources after level 80 will also apply to your orb bar. And then once you are maxed at level 102, it carries on going, basically. So your character stops leveling, but you still gain experience, basically. But that experience goes against orbs instead. So I've done an insane now. I've given myself roughly 43,000. Sounds like a lot, but we've got military experience added to all the quests and RDs. Tunnels give a bit more, I think, than some other servers. So if you've done it all, you end up roughly about 43,000. So if I go turn in this mission now, you should see I'm at about 1.1 to 1.2 million out of 5 million. If I turn this insane in, boosh. Okay, so now I've got orbs available 1. So I've actually filled the bar, and I've gone up about 2/3 of the way through again, a bit over. So that's basically how it works. So now I basically can buy a PTM orb. Now, an issue I have at the moment is that they are going to be 5 million, but we haven't updated the shop price yet. So let's have a go, see if I can buy one. Oh, wrong one. Steve. Can I afford one? So these are PTM orbs, basically. And if I was to buy now, can I buy Lightning Flash? It's too expensive. I can't. Okay. No problem. You can buy them though, basically, when I change it down. There'll be 5 million each. And there's multiple things you can do with them. So if I just quickly go back to this other character a second to show you. There's 4 things you can do with them. Basically, one is you just apply them to your mains gear to basically just get stronger. 2, you can just stack them up. Like it says there, available 1. This just goes up and up and up and up. You can just keep in experience and you have 3, 4, 5, 6 saved up. 3 is you can give them, as I've just shown, to your spawners. So all your spawners for every level can have an additional 11 PTM orbs given to them to use on their gear slots. And then because it's not character bound, the last option you potentially have, if you are just not into spawning and you just like to do a bit of penting, play your character, your main, you can sell them. They're not account bound or character bound. So as an example, this is an attack orb. I can literally just give it to another character. It's not locked by account or whatever, You can literally just sell it and give it to other players. Yeah? And that is basically the reason we've done that is because it's all about creating build diversity. If you think, if I take a melee character, a sap for example, and I go to a spawn against another sap, they just hit each other. It takes forever. Eventually one of them's going to die. What you can do is if you decide to invest your PTM orbs in that level spawner, and you slap on 11 attack orbs, boom. Suddenly now when you're fighting that sap, the same sap, you're whooping his ass because you've got, you've been enhanced by 11 PTM orbs. Now, one-on-one, it makes a difference. You're going to nuke him probably. It's an extra 22 offense value. But in team play, you're not going to decimate any clan. You know, if they come in with like a Warcry or a freeze, you're screwed. You're still frozen. You're still Warcried. Lightning's still going to do the same damage to you. You're not going to be able to like wreck an entire spawn team, but it gives you the edge 1v1. So I like that because it gives a bit of customization. It's obviously going to take some time to earn all of the PTM orbs to basically enhance all of your spawners. So it's kind of like you pick your favorite first. You know, if you're particularly fond of 28 or 76, you can basically pimp that spawner first, and it sort of gives you the edge for the first little bit. But on top of that, because of how quick it is to make gear, just by converting the stones into these vitrified opal, which I'm going to call Vit Orb, you can basically make duplicate pieces of gear. So for example, this has got API as the base set stats thing, and then the special bonus is attack. If I then decided I'm going to make a second set of gear for this character, and it's going to have parry or immunity, suddenly my sap goes from being offensive, or if I feel I don't really need the extra offense, I'm going to build parry. Now it's more tanky. I can literally just wear a different piece of gear, and I've now dropped my 11 PTM attack, and I've got 11 more parry. I'm tankier. Or, you know, okay, my sap needs to be a bit more balanced character. Let's replace the special bonus with immunity. Now I'm more of a balance-ish character. You know, if you're building sap, you still probably got really low immunity, but you know you can gain an extra 11. It might help you out a little bit. So it basically brings variety. Once you've made your character, you can kind of tweak it on a spawn basis if you've got enough gear made, basically. You don't have to sort of make a character and be done with it for good. If you want to tweak its mods, you can, just by replacing bits of gear with different PTM stats on it. And that's basically the essence of what I've got. By doing this, you know, you just keep leveling. You have a continuous use for your main. You just keep farming, earning those orbs, sending them everywhere, wherever the hell you want. Characters, sell them, whatever. It's not like other servers. You sort of get to 200, you've got no use for the character. You can't change the build because it's it's all stuck on your character sheets here. This way, it's all the PTMs will be built into your gear. You just switch your gear and your build has changed. You know, you can have like a PvE set to Pent, and then build up a tank set, like I said, where you drop like attack from your set and you put extra parry in, you know, and then you go to a raid or whatever, and boom, suddenly you're a tank just because you change your gear. It's quick, easy. So that's the logic behind it, is making basically continuous use of your main. You know, you can basically pent this guy while you're leveling your spawners. Just keep him in pens. Just, you know, click a few pens, kill the demons. Click a few pens, kill the demons while you're questing or whatever, leveling your spawner. I think it's a really good system. But anyway, that's a 18-minute long TLDR on how the spawning and main sets are going to work in Astonia 3 Clan Wars. Thanks for listening.